Hello everyone, how are y'all doing? Welcome to another video. This is a video especially about the Meteoriks pertaining to the year 2022. The nominees just came out at Mountain Bites. They had a gala where they announced the nominees, and there were a few surprises, at least for me it felt like a surprise, and I wanted to do a video to go over them and talk about my opinions regarding that. If you haven't noticed, I'm a very opinionated person, so apologies in advance if I second guess the juries a bit too much, or if I talk bad about the specific demo that I just particularly didn't like. I'm gonna try to be a bit unbiased, or as unbiased as possible, maintaining my subjectivity, and just go through the nominees, talk a little bit about them, give some context about them, and the alternatives that I would have expected to get nominated somehow, or at least hoped in some quasi-realistic way to get nominated. Let's get into it. So first things first, this is the website of the Meteoriks. You can see the nominees listed here. They have a total of 11 categories. I was expecting it to be 12, but apparently it's 11 categories. Starting with new talent, the graphics artist for the Return demo from Caladox and Rebels. It was a great demo, really enjoyed it. Would have to rewatch a few times to make sure that indeed this would have been the best assignation of the award, but I remember the graphics were quite good on the demo. Armageddon 421 for Inside a Laser. His first demo, completely. 61Q0 for 7 days. Had a very interesting concept. Really enjoyed this demo. Felt a bit unpolished, but overall it's really cool. And new scener from Japan, I believe. Shy for PAX, which I didn't quite agree, because I've seen Shy doing some stuff before. And especially this demo being the one nominated. This is a 4K, and it's not particularly interesting or memorable of a 4K. I really enjoy his TIC 80 stuff a lot better, and he abuses a lot of his ray tracing knowledge on the TIC 80 as well, so it's weird that they nominated this demo in particular as well. And then Dean Decoder for Revised Reality is a pretty good image. Executable Graphics submitted at revision. So pretty good. I mean, the candidates are all new and they're all worthy of receiving an award, so I don't question that. But there are quite a few other nominees that I'm sure the jury has considered. It's their job to see all of the demos and talk about it with the other members of the jury. But I would have expected to see other people being listed. For example, VKA-san, he did a 4K in the beginning of 2022, which was pretty solid 4K, everything alone, music and graphics by himself. This could have been a possible nominee. 100-bit as well has been in demoscene for quite a bit, but this was his first demoscene release, and a pretty solid demo. Nothing overwhelmingly exciting, but pretty solid. A very good debut. Yugasin has been doing a lot of things in 2022 as well. He's made his first intro. Doing music coding graphics for it as well would have been a perfectly good candidate, and also been very active throughout the year, not just a one release kind of thing. Dave84 also has been doing some ridiculous amount of stuff in 2022. His first release was in 2021, but then he has done amazing amount of work in 2022, so very weird not to see him being nominated as well. And he has grown a lot as a coder in the demo scene, but also he also does music. He also helps organize stuff like the Tiny Code Christmas for Love Bite, so very weird not to see Dave84 being nominated. Mako as well is another artist that had his debut this year, could also have been a possible nomination. Totet Matt, also, he's been around for a while, but he never did like a demo, and 2022 was the year that he did a demo. He started demo scene in 2021, coming from the live coding community, and then in 2022 I managed to persuade him to actually start doing some actual intros and participating with shader coding in actual demo scene productions. Like, and he's very active on the live code community, so I would expect him to get a nomination as well. He did not. Arvest is another example that it baffles me how no one gives him an award. He came back to the demo scene in 2021, was not nominated then, despite having 2 amazing graphics, and now he has done shit ton of things. He has done the logo for Inertia, which a lot of people praised him for that. He won the revision Ashi and Ansi. Well, he didn't win the Ashi and Ansi competition, but his submission ended up being picked as the results file. He's been active on the Ashi and Ansi scene. He's been active doing graphics, pixel art stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if they considered him and just didn't think he was good enough in terms of quality compared to the other people. But for me, it would have been a worthy candidate. That's it that I wanted to talk about regarding the new talent. Let's move on to outstanding concept. And outstanding concept has always been a hard category for me because I always have different opinions from everyone else on what is original and what is not. I'm going to try explain them as best as I can, as neutral as I can. I like 7 Days. I don't think it was particularly outstanding, but I did like that they took a concept. I think it's outstanding. It's a different concept for the demo scene because the demo scene is not used to this kind of productions, but we have had some of these kind of productions in the past, and I love seeing more of them. Still a good demo. It felt a bit unpolished to me, but a lot of people really loved it and resonated a lot, so I'm not surprised to seeing nominated. Tides by Blindry and Winnie Hell, we have seen elements of browsers being used before to do some sort of media art animation stuff, so it's not completely outstanding new. It did use the things well, did some formulas, was not just I want to say that it wasn't a one-trick pony, but it was pretty much just the bars, so it kind of was a one-trick pony, but he really explored the different things you could do with it, and I think it was a good demo overall. Is it an outstanding concept? I guess it can be considered. Polygon by KP, I don't agree at all that this is outstanding. It's doing stop motion animation with paper. It has been seen before. This is not new. I have no clue why this is being nominated. It was a good animation, and it's an animation. It's not a demo, so it's even weirder that they consider it for the Demo Scene Awards. E22 by FCK was pretty WTF, so I can understand why it was nominated for the Outstanding Concept. And then for 120 Years of Teletext by Attention Whore, 7 years ago this was already made, so it's not a new concept. And just a few months before, other people have also been using it, so it's even in 2022 it was already sort of made. I guess it still has more concept behind the production, and maybe they valued that as the juries, but I wouldn't have considered it for outstanding concept personally. I love Attention Horror, I love the demo, it's a great demo, I just don't think it's an outstanding concept. So what else would I have picked, you might ask? Orders of Magnitude, for example, was a great conceptual piece, like a very great idea to have these different layers and beautifully executed. Logic OS by Logic Coma, also completely thinking outside of the box, doing a new kind of production. The Tale of the Bluebird and the Dragon. Also, we don't see many medieval demos in the demo scene, and this really captured the spirit perfectly, went for the music, for the aesthetics, did the technology required to showcase it. I think it was great concept and very well explored. Farmageddon by Paramedics. This is the first time we have seen this being done at this scale, so I don't get why it's not nominated. I'm being biased with this one, but I also never seen a battle between two party icons and having a double party invitation at the same time. And at the time that we finished the intro, the invitation, I thought, yeah, this is actually was pretty interesting concept. And we got second place to the the thing at revision with the bars, and now the bars get nominated as an outstanding concept, and we don't as well. So I don't know. I'm biased, obviously, because I really thought we had something that no one would ever have ever considered doing. But apparently the jurors didn't agree. And making a demo about halberds, also I have never heard of anyone doing a demo about that. So I also thought that was pretty out of the box. I try very hard to do demos of things that are completely original and like a different concept altogether. So it baffles me a little bit that it's, well, not received by the jury in that regard. But I mean, since they are my productions, I realized that this may just come across as me being, you know, I wish I had been nominated. And yeah, I do wish it. So I recognize the biasness in that one. Anyways, let's move on. Best executable graphics, a lot of amazing releases, all of them. I think this was very well picked. A few things that I could also have been sneaked inside was Necropolis 30,071 AD by Sense Install for in 256 bytes. I think would also would have merited a nomination, possibly, maybe. What else? Best old school production: Skybox Back 10, Flat Cat, Back to the Pet, Arise 2, and Area 5250. I would not have picked these first two, Skybox, because Skybox is so short of a demo. Only has like 3 effects, pretty much, or 4. And Flat Cat also very similarly. It's very short, the tech might be good, but this is about having a good old school production, not about the tech being particularly interesting. So the alternatives that I would have picked was either Elysium State by Stardust or All Hallows Eve by a ton of projects that made this mega demo for Commodore 64. So it really baffles me, the decision of the juries on these particular 2 demos, but you know, it is subjective after all. Moving on to Midschool Production, the one that really I found odd was Block Rocking Cubes by Rift, and I think they just picked it because it was a different platforms for the GameCube, if I'm not mistaken. But if you see the demo, it's nothing particularly overwhelming about it. Of course, I think everyone assumes that Batman Rises is going to win, so it doesn't really matter, but it's always nice to get nominated anyways. I agree with the Synchronous by Desire being nominated. I think that's a very good demo for the Acorn Archimedes, done by Abyss as well. Abyss did a couple of very good Amiga intros this year. The Art of Profanity, I'm divided on this one. I think it's a bit cliche in that sense, but it's a solid demo overall. So what would be my alternatives to Block Rockin' Cubes? Transhuman Pachinko Land is the demo highest rated that I would have expected to show up, but it might be riding, because the Electronic Nights had a few memorable demos on the previous year, so they might be getting a bit more attention because of that. Even not considering that, 2022 by Cocoon was also a very solid demo for the Amiga, which could probably also have got nominated. Debris by Pulpo Corrosivo is an intro for the Amstrad CPC, very solid intro. Also could easily have taken the spot of the GameCube demo. And Aeon Drift by Disaster Area for the MS-DOS. Not many entries being done for the MS-DOS, and this one had a lot of love thrown into it. Very good scenes, very good music, so also weird that it didn't get nominated. Moving on to the next, we are going for best soundtrack. So in terms of best soundtrack, all of these soundtracks were great. I'm not saying they weren't. All of them were very well produced, pretty good. I just found it really weird that Genio still isn't nominated. Genio did like 3 very good high quality music soundtracks this year. He did the soundtrack for the Halberd demo, for my demo. He did the soundtrack for Gaia Space Agency's 2 hit demos, Circuit Serenade and Tokidoki. All of these 3 entries, everyone who watched the demo was crazy about the music. They loved the music. They said that the demo would be completely different without the music. This was great music. And it's really weird that Genio doesn't have any nomination after having done 3 amazing soundtracks on a year. So I'm biased because Genio is my friend and I collaborate with him a lot, but for me it's just weird. Moving on to best high-end intro. Am I skipping something? Best. Oh yeah, okay. Best soundtrack. Outstanding technical achievement. I have nothing to add. I think all of these nominees are very well selected. Area 5150 completely broke CGA. Scroller by Physic had an amazing trick to get smooth scrolling on the Spectrum. Transactor by Plush, apparently they have an extra shade of green. They found a new mode, a new graphics mode for it. Batman Rises pushes the Amiga OCS to places where we haven't seen it being pushed. And Unified by New Generation, I'm not an Atari person, I don't know how technical this is, but this generated some controversy. Some people thought that this was like animation until it was proven that it was not animation, and then it was like, okay, so this is really good if it's not animation, because it's not possible to do these kind of things without animation. So all of these 5 selections are really good. There are a few other things that could have been picked as well, but I think this is a great picture of technical achievements for the year. In terms of best visuals, I'm a bit divided on El Gore being nominated because it's a bit of a one-trick pony and it's just finding a realistic skin shader thing. It is not all that hard, and I think it's just nominated because people got the repulsion out of it, so it stayed with them. They have memories of it, and not because it's particularly well done. But it does look good for varying definitions of good, where good means gross. Stallbeton also had very good visuals. I really enjoyed that. Let This Darkness Be also very on point on the visuals. Return, also massive production. Secluded by Altair as well. So all pretty solid nominations. I really couldn't think of something all off the top of my head that could have deserved a better placing here. And then in terms of best high-end intro, I found it weird that LJ and Virgil got nominated twice, but both of them are really good and somehow different, so I can sort of understand it. The one thing that I would have probably seen not be listed here is Atrophage by Logicoma. It's a good intro, but it's an invitation. It's just one effect, actually 2 effects on it. It's very good, it's very on point. The music is great, the visuals are great, but it's like so short and an invitation that I thought we could probably get a few other candidates in there. Modules by Observer would be my favorite because it's 4K, has great music, has great visuals, and then Logic OS by Logicoma as well felt a lot more thought of, polished, refined, a lot more interesting than the nominated Logicoma production, in my humble opinion. And then we move on to Best Direction. Best Direction, Polygon by KP. Again, I don't know what it's doing here. It's not a demo, it's an animation. So, and even considering that, it's not particularly well directed. It's a world made of paper, 2 characters talk to each other. There's no particular camera work, there's no particular tension, emotion, narrative, and then the world burns. I'm sorry, I like the animation was good, but I don't see why it would be considered the best of 2022. Special Military Operation had a good concept. I don't think this is the best direction. It's a good concept behind it. But yeah, it's subjective. The Tale of the Bluebird, completely agree. Pointer by Guys Spot, completely agree. Let This Darkness Be by Sleigh Bells, also completely agree. But these first 2 nominations, for me, it doesn't really hit home, but you know, it's subjective. I found it weird that Raw by Netro did not get nominated. I've been so vocal about Netro maybe not deserving it on the previous years that he was nominated. And this year, I kind of miss Netro. I kind of wish he had been nominated. and also the stuff by LJ. Like both Stahlbeton and Astro's project had great direction. Why isn't this nominated? So I found that weird as well. And then we have Best High End Demo, and I think it's perfect. I don't think I could have picked another demo that would take a place out of these five. They're all very good demos. Each of them deserve to win. I'm leaning towards Return by Caladox and Rebels, but all of them are really good demos, very strong demos, and I'm very curious what the jury will decide as the winner. So yeah, that is the video that I had to make, just giving my thoughts about the Meteoriks Awards. Again, apologies if I insult anyone's taste, if I second guess the juries. I'm just saying my opinion, what I would have picked if I was in their place, and I have been in that place quite a few times at the Cineorg Awards and at the Meteoriks themselves as a jury. So I'm just giving my opinion, and hope I shed some light into a few other productions that could maybe have been worthy of being nominated. Let me know your thoughts on the comments below. If you agree, if you disagree, it's all good. Everyone has their own opinions. It's all subjective in the end, so it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to share my thoughts with everyone, and yeah, hope if it helps bring some light into some other hidden gems in the demo scene, I think this video has been worth his time recording it. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye everyone. Take care.